I was excited to show you guys all the progress I've made on my garden beds, and then I walked out this morning and I've had an intruder in my garden bed. There were tons of holes. I've flattened all this dirt out, but there were several brassicas that were uprooted, and it looks pretty abysmal. And I'm pretty sure it was the same cat that dug up my peas the other day. Unless it's my cats. I think I'm gonna try and leave my cats inside because I usually let them out at night. They're like indoor-outdoor cats. I'm gonna keep them inside for the next few days now that I've planted out 3 separate beds for the fall crops and see if it's them. I can't imagine that one cat he almost dug up that entire bed, or she. I don't know what it is. I also don't know how to keep cats out of my garden, especially strays. They just hop the fence. And the bed that the cat originally got into is doing okay. There's a pea, and another one, and another one. So I've got a couple coming up in here, enough that I'm not going to replant this bed. And then in this one, I have got a ton. I'm definitely gonna have to thin some of these out, especially in this area. I've got 6, 7 in the same spot. But this one's looking fantastic. So I can definitely say that the Sluggo worked to keep the roly-polies out of my bed. It didn't do anything for the cat though. But I did want to show y'all how much progress I've made, which is besides this sad looking bed right here, I have also re-amended and planted out this one over here, all with brassicas. So in this second bed, this general row right here is going to be Robur cauliflower, and these are going to be Brussels sprouts. I've also got various herbs. That's a cilantro, that's some dill. Both are frost hardy. And I just kind of threw in herbs in the middle parts where I didn't have a set row. Like some more dill there, some more dill there. And this row of plants is going to be amazing cauliflower, and this row is going to be imperial broccoli, if they survive. So the bed that the cat dug up this morning, there were several uprooted plants that their root balls still looked intact. I was able to put them back in the ground, and I think they'll be okay. The soil is moist. They were just out overnight. Everything was fine when I checked on it last night. So I'm hoping that they all live, but even if they don't, I have an entire other tray of plants that I need to get out here. And what we're gonna do today is take down one of my tomato beds, and I also need to show you a change of plans that I have made to my garden planning. So this is the 10-foot long tomato bed that I was going to maybe put my onions in. And as you can tell, these are not onions. And after clearing out this bed and thinking about it a little bit, I decided I didn't want the onions in here for several reasons. First off, I have this drip system, and the drip emitters are placed at every foot, which is going to mean that I will not be able to adequately utilize this drip system over the winter to water my onions, because I'm going to do them in lines, and they're going to be far closer than 1 foot apart per onion. So I'm going to have a hose in the garden over the winter to at least water both my onions and my garlic that I plan on planting out pretty soon, and I won't be able to use a drip system. So this garden bed right here is at the far north end of my garden, farthest away from the hose that it could be unless I was in the in-ground garden. I don't want to have to drag a hose that far, even though it's like not that much farther than my last garden bed, but it's still farther. And I was just thinking in my head, if I'm going to have to water these guys by hand, I want it closer to the hose. I don't want to have to drag it through several beds, possibly hitting plants with the hose, etc., etc. That's one reason. Secondly, this bed was on its way out. I wasn't getting many more tomatoes. I had a few pepper plants in here. I just completely harvested all the peppers and just took the plants out. I have 2 basil plants in here. I'm just letting them chill out until the frost because I still like making basil tea on a daily basis. But I had these giant seedlings that needed to go somewhere. They needed to get in the ground. And since I was pulling out this bed, I would rather just get these in the ground quickly so that they don't get too root bound in those pots. And I will find another place for my really cold tolerant fall brassicas. And on that note, I think my most cold tolerant fall brassicas are going to go in the in-ground garden. Now, in this in-ground garden last winter, I had several plants that I tried to grow in here. It was mostly broccoli and a couple cauliflowers, and they, for the most part, were successful. But the main problem with this in-ground garden is that it is the lowest possible point on my property, and it's the lowest possible part in the garden, and cold air sinks. So the temperature in this in-ground garden, at least the ambient temperature, is significantly lower than in my raised bed garden. And I'm going to need the coldest tolerant plants that I'm growing to be able to thrive here in this in-ground garden. So it just kind of made sense to put my more heat tolerant plants in the raised beds. And since my cold tolerant plants are going to be the last to come out of their pots anyways, because I started them later than everything else, this is going to be the last viable option that I have to put them. So that's where these are going to go. And I'm happy for that decision as well, because I've still got a ton of Bermuda grass in here. I'm still working on these beds. I need to re-amend them, and at least for now I can put that off and take care of the raised beds, which need to come out for things like onions and garlic, and I need to start some root vegetables soon. So I can focus on the raised bed portion of the garden and not worry about this until later, until those seedlings are ready to come outside. So in this 10-foot by 4-foot bed, it's a little bit longer than 4 feet because of the way that we nailed these boards together. But I've actually got 5 rows here. And in these first 2, I have early Jersey Wakefield cabbage. And then these 3 rows are going to be amazing cauliflower. And although cauliflower is amazing, I'm not saying amazing cauliflower because it's amazing. It's actually the name of the variety. But this tomato bed is the one that we're going to be taking out today. I had a German pink right here at the beginning of my season. That's where my Amish paste was that completely died in the heat. I have my chocolate pear cherry tomato and my Mexico midget. And I still have, a few tomatoes coming out. Got this chocolate. Oh no. Where'd you go? There you are. I have this chocolate pear still putting off some. But all in all, I don't have a whole lot of fruit off these plants, so I don't mind taking these out. This German pink is severely diseased. Look at that. It's time to go. It's almost October. A little less than 45 days left in my summer garden. I'm okay taking this guy out. And now that I've done 3 garden beds, once you start taking out the garden, you just get really excited to start putting all of the plants in. And I really like cleaning, so it's super satisfying to me to rip out all these old plants and re-amend the beds. Just kind of get on this start ripping out garden beds kick. So as of right now, those are my tentative plans for the fall garden, even though I had tentative plans before and I changed them. They'll probably change again. I don't know what I'm going to put in this tomato bed. All I know today is that I am ripping these tomatoes out. I need more room. I still have seedlings that have to go in the ground. And I got my garlic order in, so I need to find a bed to put my garlic in as well. And I need to start root vegetables from seeds. I have so much to do. I'm gonna need gloves for this. Now, if you do a lot of pruning on your tomatoes, you prune them down to 1 leading stem or 2 leading stems, I would imagine this would be a lot easier to rip the tomatoes off of your trellis at the end of the season. But mine is just a mass. It's mini tomato bushes thrown together because not pruning my tomatoes helps with the heat a lot here in the desert. So I found that the easiest way is just to start ripping branches. Now usually I would leave roots in the ground so that they compost over time and add nutrients to the soil. But these tomatoes were pretty big and those root balls were pretty big, so I just decided to take them out. And I don't really mind not leaving them in. I mean, it would take probably a year for those root systems to completely break down anyways. So I'm not really hurting myself by not leaving a couple root systems in to add some compost. I love these things, these little tomato ties, but they go everywhere when you're done using them. And then you're stuck picking them out of the soil and off of your trellis for days. But there we are. No more tomato bed. It's a little sad. But it's not the end of the garden. It's just the end of the season, and it's time for a new garden. And that is exciting. I'm likely gonna leave this trellis like I did last year, mostly because I tied these in with wire and I'm just far too lazy to take them off at this point. But it won't be in the way. I'll have 2 rows of plants on this side and 2 rows on that side, and that will perfectly fit the drip system. And I've still got tomatoes coming up on this giant tomato tower thing. It's huge. It's so big. And I've got tomatoes coming from my determinate ones that were supposed to be done a long time ago. Just look at all of these tomatoes, and they're all really good size. I just have tons in here. Oh, there's one right in there. Look at that guy. Oh, I don't like reaching my hand in here. Oh, ew. It was gross. It's got a hole on one side. When you just blindly reach your hand into something knowing that you don't want to find anything gross and then you find something gross. Ugh. I am totally doing this better next year. Because this is a mess. Look at this thing. That's supposed to be standing up, and the just entire weight of all of these tomatoes just pulled everything down. Ooh, look at this guy. You're pretty. I did a big pepper harvest yesterday. With all these beds that I've been pulling out, I had to just harvest all of the peppers that I had, whether I wanted to or not. So naturally, I have almost a gallon of pepperoncini peppers that I have no idea what I'm gonna do with because I didn't like them this year. But I don't want to waste them. I don't just want to like toss them out or just give them to the chickens. There's got to be some sort of recipe I can find that I can use them in. But with all the rest of the red peppers that I pulled up, I got a whole dehydrator full of red chilies and padron peppers, both green and red padrones. So I'm adding significantly to my dried chili portion of my food security for the winter, and I am very, very excited. I think for the most part, these 2 dedicated pepper beds are going to stay in. And definitely that tomato bed, the 4x4 that I just showed you guys, because there are a ton of whopper-sized tomatoes that need to ripen. And then this tomato thing, wall, with all the okra in, that's going to stay in there for a while too. I'm still getting okra every single day, and we're eating it. I've found some different ways to cook it that Chase likes. We did steaks and fried okra on the camp grill the other night, and we cooked outside and it was dusk. It was so pretty and it was very fun. So I still want to keep the okra as long as I'm getting a harvest. I just know I'm running out of space. I need to put the garlic somewhere soon because I've already gotten it shipped. The onions can stay inside for a little bit longer. They're a poquito bit small, so I'll wait till they get a little bit bigger, but the garlic needs to come out pretty soon. So I'm gonna have to sacrifice some bed. I don't know which one yet. And I still need to direct sow all of my root crops, my turnips and my beets and my carrots, and I don't have a bed for those either. But I think after I'm done amending this tomato bed we just did, I'm going to do the 4x4 that's right next to it and probably sow root vegetables in that one. That's got decent soil. It's a second year bed, so it's been having good compost and soil amendments for almost 2 years now, and I think that'll be a good bed to put root vegetables in. And it's closest to my hose, because with the root vegetables as well and my drip system, I'm not going to be able to use the drip system for those things, because I'm gonna plant my carrots in a row, my beets in a row, and it's not going to be one carrot every foot. It's going to be several carrots in a foot. So I don't think I'll be able to utilize the drip system for the winter as much as I want to. I will obviously be able to use it for all my brassicas, but not my root crops, not my onions, and not my garlic. I'm gonna have to hand water those. Whew. Oh well, at least in the winter I don't have to water as much. It's only every couple days, which is a nice reprieve. But in this bed I've got a tomato that only gave me one fruit this year. I don't even know what variety it is, but I haven't gotten anything. I don't mind pulling this guy out. I have my Bikino peppers, these little orange guys, that I've been harvesting off pretty regularly. They're like a little spice pepper. I've got a New Mexico Big Jim. I've gotten a few peppers off this guy, but I don't mind pulling him out either. The thing that's going to be the issue is this holy basil, because I'm still using it. But if I get to this bed in the next week, I'll probably just come out and do a massive, just harvest the whole plant and take it inside to dehydrate it. And that'll have to do, because everything's got to come out at some point. And this bed, I'm not, harvesting a lot of food off of. I use a lot of the holy basil for tea, but I can just as well dehydrate it all and store it for use over the winter. So I'm pretty sure this is my next bed. Yeah. But look at this okra though. I'm getting so much off of these guys. They're growing really well. And so they definitely are going to be some of the last ones to come out. But it's time to take care of this bed before it gets too hot and I don't want to be out here anymore. So I'm going to take care of this bed, and you guys will find out on the next video what I decided to put in here, because even I don't know the answer to that question right now. Catch you on the next one.